everybody, welcome to today's video. And today we have Johnny and Moon Dancer, and we are going to be doing groundwork to prepare a horse to ride. Everybody says groundwork, but what are you supposed to do as far as groundwork getting the horse ready to ride? Well, you're going to want to move your head, your neck, your forequarters, your rib cage, and your hindquarters. And the first exercise you're going to do is to flex the horse laterally. Now, that is going to be reaching halfway up the horse's rein and bringing up to the corner of your saddle until your horse flexes and then releases on both sides. Now, this is going to make sure that your horse gives to pressure on either side. Remember, everything you do on one side, you do on the other. And when you're doing this exercise properly, you are standing in safe zone number 2 or in the pocket behind the stirrup, because you want to bring your hand up here to the pommel of the saddle, because you want to try to keep as straight a line as possible. And as soon as the horse head gives, then you give. Now, that is using constant pressure. There's 2 different types of pressure. There's intermittent pressure, and then there's constant. Now, that's constant. Now, intermittent would be bump, bump, bump. That is intermittent pressure. Now, you see the difference? Now, bump, bump, bump as you're pulling back. Ready? And bump, 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 bump to make her give. Now, there you go. That's how she has to understand. So, you use constant pressure, and you can also use intermittent pressure. Now let's talk about moving the forequarters of the horse. Now the forequarters of the horse is going to be button number 1. Now button number 1, nope, flip it the opposite way, because that's how your leg is going to hold in the stirrup. It's just like that. So button number 1 is going to be right here in front of the girth. Button number 2 is going to be at the girth. And button number 3, which moves the hindquarters, is behind the girth. So moving the forequarters, you are going to use button number 1, and you are also going to use indirect pressure. That means pressure against the horse's neck this way. Now, the opposite side over here, if you use your saddle horn, that actually pulls the horse's nose the direction you want it to go. So when you want this, you're going to use your saddle to tip the horse's head opposite from you. Now, your feet have to be in safe zone number 1, which is in front of her feet. And what you're looking for is a crossover. There you go. Cross, cross. Now don't let, that was the cross. That was the cross. That was the cross. There you go. There. Now, as soon as you get a good one, now remember, you can't let her walk forward. You have to stop forward motion. Now remember, what you do on one side, you do on the other. The horse figures this out and she gets stepping well. You're not going to have a problem. So you want to step, and that is the basis for a showmanship pattern, also for a reining pattern. Let's talk about moving the hindquarters, which is going to be this part of the horse. That is going to be button number 3. Now, you have to tip her nose towards you slightly. So you're going to hold your hand right about here on the corner of the skirt of the saddle and have the nose tipped. And then you're going to tap, use that intermittent pressure on button number 3. And again, you're looking for the crossover with the back legs. Cross, cross, chin up, stand up, and release. Now let's do it on the other side. Okay, now let's do it on the other side. The advantage of doing this every day is you want to get to the point where all you have to do is ask. There you go. Stand up straight. Whoa. And the horse should come back to you. Now, this is something that you do every day, and every day you'll get better. You're not only building muscle memory with the horse, but you are building muscle memory on your own. So groundwork is something you should warm up with every day, and these are a couple of those exercises. When you're getting up on a colt, always make sure you are mane and rein. You are going to come up, settle yourself, and then put your leg over. As soon as you get there, put your foot in the stirrup, try to sit up straight, and, kind of just relax once you get in the saddle. That's kind of going to be the full thing. Relax once you get in the saddle, make sure the horse isn't moving, and she isn't. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask her to flex her head on either side. So flex on one. As soon as she gives, release. Now you're going to use intermittent pressure on the opposite side. So bump, 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 bump. There you go, until release. Now, that wasn't very good, so go back to that side. Reach halfway up, bump, 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 until she gives her head. Good, and release. Do it again. That wasn't really good. We want her to get an A on everything. Good, now release. Go to the other side. You know you've got it when your horse gets an A to a B every time. She's flexing her head. We're just using a simple side pull. So we want her to be able to give her head every time you ask. So that's really important, and she is. So good job. So flexing the head is the first one of our exercise. Thanks so much for joining us on today's lesson. And if you enjoyed the lesson, give us a like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And remember, to see more groundwork exercises, check out our groundwork playlist.